that's a great point that you bring up. It is all about the bride, and it is about what she wants.
Yes.
And if she wants what she wants, then so be it. And I think that it is super important to be open and communicative with your hairdresser, especially when it comes to them not knowing who you are, meeting you for the first time. If you can't make it to a trial for whatever reason, if that's what you guys all decide to do a trial instead of just the bride, being open with the bride and being open with the hairstylist is one
Yes.
key factor. And I think that goes across the board for all your vendors too,
Yes.
is being open and communicative with these people. If they email you, send them an email back, whether it's
Yes.
a no thank you, or yes, we're moving forward, or hey, check your, especially if you're planning a wedding and you don't have an email that's specifically for your wedding stuff, check your email on a or try daily basis, because
Yes.
3-4 times a day, you're going to get emails from all your vendors, especially when it gets closer to your wedding day. And that's something I think is key, is keeping that open line of communication. And in
Yes.
the end, no matter what anyone else says, the bride gets what she wants because it is her wedding.
Exactly.
You know?
And no question is too stupid. I have, you're my photographer. I have probably asked you 100 questions. And you know what? I don't care. It's the line of communication needs to be clear. Okay. Ask me, I want my brides, ask me anything. I don't care what it is. I don't care if you blow up my phone 100 times with 100 questions. I want everything to be crystal clear. I don't want there to be any, oh, I didn't know about that, or what are you talking about? It's very important to be totally transparent, especially on a wedding day. We want everything to be as smooth as possible.
No, I think that's great that you bring that up too, is that, being open, again, what we just talked about, being open, but how many times do I tell you, hey, don't be afraid to reach out to me. Don't be afraid to text
All the time.
Right. And it stands true. And anyone that looks to hire, your vendors, that's the kind of relationship you want to have, is you want to be on a text basis with them. We're friends on Facebook. We text back and forth. It's not an email base. You start out in the emails. That's the most professional way to do it. But as soon as you establish that friendship and become Facebook friends and Instagram followings, and you're texting each other, that's when you've found the right person for your
Exactly.
wedding,
Exactly.
Okay. So does the time of year affect the style of a bride's hair? Does it make a difference if you style in the spring versus the winter or the fall or the summer, humidity and stuff like that? So does it affect it, and what kind of some styles maybe you recommend for the hotter months of the year versus the colder months of the year?
Absolutely not. I'm sorry. It doesn't. Some stylists may say yes, but no. You know what? If a bride comes to me and says, this is what I feel confident in, this is what I feel sexy in, this is what I want, no, you can't have that because it's in the winter. No, absolutely not. A bride gets what she wants, and if she feels beautiful in it, then that's it. Now, say it's say she has very flat hair, and she wants it down, and the day's coming and it's supposed to be very humid and very cold, very rainy. I would always suggest extensions, because they hold a curl better. So again, we'll always try and put some tweaks and be open to getting some feedback from us. But I would say no season will dictate how you should wear your hair. Okay, it's your day.
So now if a bride comes to you for any advice on that specific topic, and they say, hey, I'm open for anything, what would you suggest to them? Like, going from a summer wedding versus, say, mid-January wedding, for example.
So, like, what do you mean? Like, what?
So say I'm a bride, right? Coming to you and saying, hey, I don't know anything about hair. I'm very simple. I just put it up in a ponytail and I walk out the door, kind of a deal.
Okay.
Right. So for the wedding day, she doesn't really know what she wants.
She has no idea.
Right.
Okay.
So what was something
that happens. We get some girls that are just like, yeah, I don't know what to do. Always ask your stylist. Always. This is what we're trained to do. We're trained to help pick designs that will fit your face, the shape of your head, what's going to accent your face, like what's going to bring it out. If this piece over here is over, what's going to accentuate your face the best. Also, your dress. Bring pictures in of your dress. What styles are going to go with your dress. If you have this open, beautiful back, well then, you kind of want to show it off. If you got some pretty lacy, figures, or, talk to your stylist. We're trained in this. We know what's going to look best with those certain kind of dresses. Okay. And also, again, what we talked about with that line of open communication, don't be offended if we say, listen, you're always right. The bride is always right. But if you do this piece of your dress will be covered and you will not see it. Is that going to bother you?
Right. No, that's super, yeah, no, that's super important that you bring up the dress, because I think sometimes brides will forget that if your hair is a certain length or your dress is cut a certain way and you want to see the whole dress in photos, it's important to style your hair so that you don't have that issue. I see a lot of times where brides will go to one side, or they'll put it up in the back, or if they have shorter hair, it'll go all the way up. And I think that's a factor that most brides don't think of is, my dress, how does my dress look in this? And bringing pictures of the dress to the consultation or the trial is super, super important. Most definitely. So what, and we talked about this earlier, average price. So what is an average price for you to kind of show up to a wedding day for a bride?
So my pricing.
Yeah.
Okay. So, my pricing for bridesmaids are $85. Same thing for mothers of brides or mothers of grooms. My pricing does change if it is, some moms have the very short hair, and if they just want to blow out, that does change. That does go to $45. Flower girls also, it's tricky because I get some brides that say, my flower girl just wants a few curls, and I show up and this flower girl is 13 years old. A flower girl in my contract is 5 and under. And it is $45. And, if you want me to put some flowers in there, sometimes I have some extra flowers I can bring. If you have a headpiece, that is included in that as well. Bridesmaids, I told you 85. Brides are $150. Okay. And I only charge my trials $50 because I want that to be a time for us to get to know each other. Okay. Let's play around. Let's get a feel for each other. For grooms as well, I have also styled grooms. That is also $45. I'm trying to think. Am I leaving anybody out?
No, I think you covered everybody. I think that's really smart. That's actually really great that you offer that for grooms as well, because I've never heard. I shouldn't say I've never heard. It's kind of unheard of that a groom, has the opportunity to get his hair styled the morning of for the wedding day. So I think that if that's something that anyone wants to do, I would totally do that, because
oh my goodness,
who loves the fresh cut, especially in the morning of your wedding.
Oh yeah, and you'd be surprised at when I offer that, how many people are like, oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah. I know for a fact that I would.
Yeah, the bride's like, you can do my husband's hair? Oh my God, yes, because he doesn't know how, please.
Do it. He won't go the morning of to get his haircut, so you're gonna do it for him. No, I think that's really a really good point that you bring up. That is definitely something that is an unknown piece of knowledge to the general wedding population, is that their stylist guys also can style the man's hair as well, or your husband's or your fiance's hair, simply because when they think stylist and makeup artist, they automatically think the bride. They don't think
the men need some loving too.
Yeah, no, it's true. No, listen, there's that saying, happy wife, happy life, right? But the groom is the other half of that partnership. So
it is his wedding too, as much as we.
But it's so true. It is the groom's wedding, and I think sometimes the brides will kind of forget that. Not they wouldn't forget. Yeah, exactly. They don't forget about the groom, but they're like, oh, I didn't think that my fiance would want his hairstyle the morning of, or he doesn't really care about X, Y, Z. But ask him.
Okay. You know how many times I'm like, oh, my wedding this, my wedding that. I'm like, oh, I mean our.
Oops. I have another half to this party. I'm kind of marrying some dude named Dan. I mean, I don't know.
I didn't even know we were doing that for the wedding. I was like, oh yeah, it's good.
Yeah, exactly. It's just whatever. So do you recommend a styling team? Okay, think about an on-site location. So would you recommend a styling team or just a solo hairstylist when it comes to morning prep?
Okay, so when I think of a styling team, I think of someone hiring a salon and having their team come. Okay, which is that's fine, that's great. For instance, for me, Black Dahlia Hair Company, I'm my own company. Now, um, if uh, if a bride has 10 bridesmaids, obviously I'm going to bring on people to help me. And I have girls that are a part of my team that do come and help me. And I ask all of them, are you available on this date? So it's great because, we together already. Now for when you do the whole team at a shop, personally, some girls at the shop don't specialize in brides, so they're not as educated in some of the styles as if you were to hire, a one-person company, like say as me, and then the women that I am bringing on also are specializing in bridal hair. So you are getting a team that this is what they specialize in. Not just I do a wedding once a year, I do a wedding twice a year. You're getting people that this is what they do.
Right. No, I think that's really good that you said that too, because you're right. Not it's like, okay, think about it in the photographer sense too, right? Like anyone can pick up a camera and take a photograph. It's not a hard thing to do. But in the photography industry, it's parallels to the hair industry too, right? Where there's photographers that specialize in a lot of different things. Like I can never go out. I would never ask to get a job at Nat Geo or any sort of like magazine company landscape, because that's not what I specialize in, right?
Come on, you don't want to take pictures of me and my daughter again?
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, like photos of like, nature and mountains, not so much, So, it kind of works that sort of parallel too, because, if you're going to hire a hairstyling team and there's multiple girls, you want to make sure that they all do know how to style for a bride. And that goes back to the whole doing your research point that we made earlier. And especially in your case, which I think is super important to know too, is that if you're hiring a company that's just a one-man team, ask if they have other people. And if they do have other people, who are they and do they specialize? And most of the time, those people do specialize specifically in that field. Just like myself, if you hire me for a wedding, my second photographer is not going to be shooting nature photos and wildlife photos in Africa the day before and coming to shoot a wedding, because it just doesn't work like that, right? You can be a photographer, you can be a hairstylist, you can be, a videographer, you can be a makeup artist, but it's what we specialize in those fields that, help out in the long run for the wedding, So talk about one of your best experiences that you've ever encountered working with a bride.
Okay, so this is hard. I love all my brides. The honor it is for someone to choose you to be that vendor. In my case, to do their hair, on their wedding day it's really a true honor. Okay. So all of my brides, there's always great memories of every single one, but one in particular just really, really, really stood out to me. Her name was Raina, and she was friends with my fiance for years. She introduced us. I started doing her hair about a year or two ago, and she asked me to do her hair for her wedding. Of course, I said yes. I was honored, and she was the calmest bride ever. She the picture never got clouded. Okay, the glitz and the glamour, it didn't phase her. Listen, she had a beautiful venue. She had a beautiful dress. She had a very small bridal party, but it was she was getting married to the love of her life. That's all that mattered to her. Nothing else fazed her. I think her mom was more nervous than her. She was like, Mom, just go stop at the farmer's market on the way here and pick up some sunflowers for my bouquet, you know? And her mom was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? And she was like, you know, it doesn't matter. I'm getting married to the love of my life. I'm becoming a stepmother to a little girl that I've raised for years. And, you know, it just stuck with me, the love, the love.
That, you know, that's not to cut you off, but that I could tell by that story that that is something that stands tried and true with you, right? As a person,
Yeah.
is that, you know, you have a beautiful family, you know, you and Dan and Athena, you guys are wonderful. And I love the three of you very much. And so to kind of see that there are people out there who that's all they care about. It doesn't matter. You know, I have photographed weddings beyond weddings. You asked me, I've seen it all. I've seen from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows. And there are just some people out there who just don't get it, right? They're getting married because they do it for the formalities, or they just want all the glitz and glam. They want these big grandiose weddings. And
they do it for the wedding.
Right. They do it for the wedding, not for the reason behind it. And I think that's a huge message that's lost a lot of times nowadays, is that people that have the money to afford these gigantic, beautiful weddings, they could be the most in love people on planet Earth. But if you're going above and beyond with these over the top venues and over the top aspects of your wedding day, where you're hiring dancers and big flower things, like, that's all great. That's wonderful. But to me, I'd rather take half of that money that I spend on the wedding day and go travel the world with the love of my life for a month, right? Go on a 1 month vacation around Europe or around Asia or around parts of the world that you wouldn't normally think to go to, and have a simple wedding. You know, listen, you know, there's no stopping anybody from having this, you know, grandiose wedding. But when it comes down to it, if all that matters to that bride is who she's marrying on that wedding day and the people that are surrounding her, nothing else bothers her. That's the perfect bride you want everyone.
It was great. And listen, you know, the wedding was beautiful, you know, the wedding, everything was gorgeous, but it was just the calmness in her of, I don't care.
No, that's super important.
I'm marrying my love.
Right.
And to me, that was the greatest, just the greatest, because it gets blurred a lot, you know.
Oh, more times than not too. And I think that it's unfortunate that does happen. And, you know, people that get married just for the aspect of getting married, I think kind of see it the wrong way. And, you know, you only wish them the best of luck and many happy years together. But sometimes those marriages end 30 years down the road because they got married for all the wrong reasons at the time. And I think that's something that's truly important when you are at that point in your life. You need to really think about who you're marrying, why you're marrying them, and, you know, can you see yourself with them for 50 years?
Exactly.
So what is any last minute advice that you have for a bride looking to, you know, shop for a hairstylist for her wedding day?
So any last minute advice, again, is just to really do your research. You know, I've heard some horror stories, unfortunately, of just people just being really ripped off. And I hate to say it because this is my industry and I love my industry. And most of us are fantastic people, but some are not. And, you know, just like this pandemic that's happening and going on, I'm, you know, brides are reaching out to me and I'm just hearing the horror stories. And just, you know, just do your research on your stylist, and, you know, do your trial and make sure you have that bond, you know, and make sure they do some bomb ass hair, because of course it's number one, you know. But of course, you know, you want that humanity in them as well. Okay. You know, you don't want them, this is a business, you know, obviously, you know, a hairstylist in wedding hair, it's a business, but also be a human, you know, and the love, you know, and I feel that our industry loses that sometimes. So just make sure you find a stylist that didn't lose that love yet, that love for humanity, but also has that love for hair as well, you know?
No, I think that's great. And guys, with that being said, this is going to end our interview today. So Brittany, where can everybody find you? Tell everyone your social media, your website, your email, stuff like that. So where can all these lovely people find you?
All right. So my Instagram is at Brittany Eleanor. I'm sure you can like type it in somewhere. It's BrittanyEleanor. On there, you can kind of find everything else. My website is www.blackdahliahairco.com. We did a little rebranding during this quarantine, so you will be seeing a lot of new stuff if you go on over and check us out. And you can find our email and our phone number, everything, if you go right on our Instagram page.
All right, guys. Well, this wraps up today's interview. I will be linking all of this wonderful information from Brittany and all of her social media links at the bottom of this video. Brittany, I want to thank you so much for taking some time tonight to come out and, of course, talk to our brides and our grooms for the wedding day. And I'm super pumped for your wedding, and I will talk to you very soon.
All right. Thank you so much, Tom.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.